You've played the Toronto Wolfpack. It was a very tough game.
It was a tough game, yeah. I think they've schooled us in many areas. I thought the biggest one was in the speed of the play of the ball. They played really quickly, which allowed them to play with expansion and ask questions of our edges. They controlled us going forward, which made it really difficult for our halfbacks. So, that they've given us a good lesson in that area. And I think the other big lesson that we can learn is how we start the game, because 16 minutes into the game, we're 16 points down. We touched the ball 3 times. Of those 3 times we touched it, we'd given a penalty away for an obstruction, and we'd given a dummy half pass that went forward. So we'd invited them to start as they started. So that's something that we need to address pretty urgently.
I mean, you can take great credit in the response for the remaining 25 minutes of the first half.
Very much so, and for the majority of the second half as well. But we just came up with a couple of one-on-one misses, which obviously cost us, because once Toronto hit fresh air, they've got players like Braley who have got pace to burn, and they just get sat on the shoulder, and it's really difficult to scramble back and close them down. So, as I say, we've been given a good lesson, but the young players will have benefited from that. And the pleasing thing for me, I thought the senior players stood up today. They got lots of minutes out there, and they really put their hands up as leaders for the young men to follow. And I mean, without being disrespectful to the League One division, I don't think we'll play a team as good as that unless we draw Wakefield in the Challenge Cup, the rest of the season. So they're a very good team, and we've learnt some harsh lessons, but some good lessons. It might sound strange, this, but I think tonight will have benefited us more than the previous 3 games. I really do. So because it really does focus you on the areas that you need to improve upon.
You mentioned the forwards, Jamel Goodall, Ross Peltier, Steve Crossley, and the trialist Jordan Andrada really got stuck in.
Yeah, they did, and that's credit to them. But rather than just pick certain people, because you could pick Lee Smith as well. I thought Lee Smith did a great job in the left centre, but I ain't going to bag the young players as well, like young Pickersgill. He started a little slowly, but I think his kicking game was good actually until perhaps the last 10 minutes when our hooker started doing all the kicks. But so he will have learned from today, and he's also learned a little bit about his defensive positioning. So it's been a salutary lesson, but a good lesson.
Does it concern you that you've not got on the scoreboard?
Not at all.
Despite having a bit of pressure?
Not at all. No, it's that's my fault. I'll take that, because in the training schedule that we devised, we weren't planning to do attack within their 20 metres until between the Toronto and Keighley game. And so with all the structure and everything that we've done has been away from that and on defence, and this is the final touch, hopefully, before the Keighley game. So that's me, not the players, that's me.
In terms of those trialists, Dan King, Jordan Andrada and Harvey Burnett, when are you likely to make a decision? Are you going to give them up to and including the Keighley game, John?
I don't know. We're going to sit down. We'll sit down on Monday as a coaching staff. First of all, we'll review the injuries and look at the prep within the next 2 weeks. There's going to be ruck defence and carries as well to generate quick plays, as well as online attack. So they will certainly feature, so the players better get ready for that. And then we'll look at the type of team we're going to turn out against Keighley, and we'll also look at the number of minutes that people have played. I mean, there's Greg stood at the back, and I wanted Greg to get 80 minutes, but he cramped up. So it was going to be 80 this game and 40 against Keighley. It might be a little longer this time against Keighley. So we'll look at all those factors for every player, so that they've got the minutes we want them to have before the start of the season.
It want the best conditions for someone like Greg McNally to make his debut and show the fans himself what he can do.
Again, it's we didn't generate the speed of play of the ball, so that's top and bottom. That's my phone, so I do apologise. We didn't generate the speed of play of the ball, so that's down to us to rectify that fact, so that we are playing the ball quicker, because the quicker you play the ball, the defence is still retreating, the more space and more time you've got to execute your skill. We didn't have space and time today, but there were still little glimpses. When Greg got the ball to Ethan Ryan on the left, that was a glimpse. When Dalton Grant stood his winger up and went round him, that was a little glimpse, and we came through the middle once or twice as well. So there were glimpses, just not enough of them.
In terms of injuries, Liam Kirk went off in the first half. Is there any injury concerns?
All the injuries that we picked are bumps, bruises, like dead legs, or there's been a hyperextension of an elbow. So they are injuries, but they're injuries that we feel are not long-term ones, and they're in tomorrow to have them assessed so that we can get the right treatment over the next 2 weeks.
Like you said, John, this is probably going to be one of the toughest sides, Challenge Cup excluding, that you're going to face.
Yes.
What does the barometer after today tell you?
That we've a lot of work to do. And perhaps if Keighley and York and London and it's Keighley again into after that, if they look at that, they'll be thinking, oh, we quite fancy his chance against the Bulls. But there's lots of improvement in us, and we will improve. We'll start the season as good as we can, but I'm convinced as well we'll get better as the season goes on.
Are you happy with the fitness levels, John, in the second half? Very testing conditions. The defended valiantly till the end. They
did, yeah. They were testing conditions, but if the other team have got more ball than you tire, and that's doesn't matter how fit you are. If they've got the wealth of possession, and that's what happened in the first 16 minutes. We showed it up after that, but then they dominated possession towards the end as well. So that may well be a factor rather than just the fitness side of it.
Many teams in the league, John, will come at you strong.
Yes.
The forward packs at Workington are probably disrespectful to some of the lower teams like Emily Stags and London. They're working in the York, wanting a real dig at you. It's them and the halfbacks, once you've completed that level, they've got to unpick the defences and make life a little bit easier for you. So you're going to want to get your best halfback combination out there.
Yeah, but if they're not fit, they're not fit. There's nothing you can do about that. And I'm not going to criticise Elliot Minchella, Lee Smith, or Brandon Pickersgill who've played there up to now, because I think they've done a valiant job, and I think they'll be better for having experienced this. So we'd love to have. Number 6 and 7 of the squad numbers are Chisholm and Keys. Well, they aren't fit, so they can't play 6 and 7. So we've got to play who we feel are the best players at that point in time, and they'll be better for these experiences.
In your mind, have you already got a 1 to 17 roughly mapped out? In your
I would say I've got 13 of the 17. Yes, I would say that, and the selection for Keighley might be just to solve the other 4, but I would say I've got 13 of the 17. Yes.
Is it quite handy not having a game next week, as you say, because there's quite a lot of work to do?
It is, yes, it is, yeah. We've had 5 trial games, so it's a lot. But it won't do us any harm. Wakefield Trinity last year, they had 5 trial games, and I thought they were pretty good last year. So we'll have to see if we can match that within League One.
Have you pretty much structured the next sort of 2 weeks in terms of
training
work?
Yes. All that was done right through to Keighley from before Christmas. So that was all planned and prepared right through to Keighley. But obviously the Keighley to York week is one that we're a bit flexible, and that's more of a reactive one than a proactive one, but all the rest has been planned prior, yes.
At this early stage, are you looking at the Keighley game and perhaps thinking that'll be my team possibly for the following week, or is it still?
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see.
Is there any latest news on the condition of, or the progress of Keys and Chisholm?
Our medical staff are working hard to get them out there. We thought Joe was fit against Dewsbury, but after 15 minutes his knee was just playing him up, so he couldn't finish that game. And it's no good us pushing them out there for round 1 if then they're going to miss rounds 2 to 7, because we've got to realise this season runs from round 1 to round 26, and it's whoever's on the top of the league after round 26 that matters. So we've got to stay strong and hold our nerve so that we make the correct decisions in the bigger picture rather than the immediate picture.
I assume that the pitches at the moment being slippery and heavy.
It makes it tough. Yes, it makes it tough. And that may well be one of the reasons why we're playing the way that we're playing, because we might be practicing for the heavy pitches and tight games. Whereas once the pitches dry out, I think you can have a bit more of a smile on your face and the ball can wing about. But you've got to play the opposition, the size of the pitch, the referee, and the weather conditions at this moment in time.
John, you've experienced the Transatlantic Challenge. What are your thoughts on it? Brian was quite positive on Monday when we made the announcement, saying it potentially could grow as big as State of Origin.
Yeah, that's big. That's big, yeah. I can't go on that one. if it's as big as State of Origin, I'll be very, very impressed. Believe you me, yeah.